My name is Farha Tahir. I am a second-year graduate student at the La Follette School of Public Affairs, just up the hill from here. And I went to undergrad here, and I'm getting ready to graduate from my master's, and I'm really looking forward to that.
So you were born here and then grew up in Wisconsin.
I was actually born in India, but I've spent the vast majority of my life in Wisconsin itself. I lived briefly in Illinois, but that's a blimp in the road. I grew up in the suburbs of Milwaukee, and then moved to Madison for college. And then I've spent a couple semesters in DC, but other than that, it's been Wisconsin forever. Yeah.
And most people in India, they're Hindus, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but actually India has about an 11 to 12% Muslim, a rate of Islam as a faith, and so actually that accounts for something crazy like 140 million people or something like that, which makes India a country with one of the largest Muslim populations. Just due to the fact that it has over 1 billion people, it's really easy for a small percentage of the country to mean a lot of people. So there are more Muslims than you think. Yeah.
So where were you when 9/11 happened?
So 9/11, I was a freshman in high school, which makes me around 15 years old. It was my second week of high school, and I actually went to an all-girls Catholic high school. And it was my 4th week, roughly, of wearing a headscarf. I had never worn a headscarf before. I started right before high school began. And so, I mean, I went from being just, another person on the street to someone who's very identifiably Muslim. And, I mean, just like everyone else, I just remember being really confused, not quite understanding what was going on, trying to understand how someone would justify something like this, because what I think is often lost in the narrative is, yes, these 20 men from somewhere else did this, but it impacted me like it impacted most people because they did it to Americans, and I identify 100% as an American. And so I think that sense of confusion, some people in my high school, their dads were on business trips in New York. I myself knew people in the city itself, so just not knowing what was going on, not having full details, and then within less than an hour, I would say, the fact that they started speculating that this was something carried out by Muslims was something that was just really hard to grapple with. I can still really vividly remember I had finished theology class, which is what I had first hour, and then I went to Spanish, which was just across the hall, when 2 of my friends came in and told the Spanish teacher, and I saw her crying, and I just wasn't sure what that meant because I didn't know the full story. And then, of course, the rest of the day was devoted to watching newscasts and understanding what had happened, and it was really overwhelming. But, I mean, I think at a point it was also a very coming-of-age moment for me because it really forced me to think about, okay, whether I like it or not, I am now defined by this group in some ways. And so how do I change that to let it be something positive rather than negative? And I think it really forced a lot of my activism in high school. It forced me to do more interfaith interaction. I worked a lot with the Archdiocese of Milwaukee since I was going to a Catholic high school especially. I worked a lot with Jewish communities all throughout Milwaukee. And then I got really involved in the peace and justice movement in Milwaukee. And it gave me a really good platform to talk about what I wanted to talk about and to learn about other people. And I think it's through that interaction that we can really make a difference and do positive things.